The Dallas Cowboys have hired Mike McCarthy. These are my first impressions. Now I'm splitting this into two parts. First part, the argument against, and the second part will be the argument for. This first part will be the argument against. It's a little irritating at the surface simply because when you look at Coach McCarthy in his last two seasons with Green Bay, they missed the playoffs. The most recent season with his former team, they had Aaron Rodgers at quarterback the whole season. And when you look back at how things shook out between McCarthy and Aaron, it wasn't pretty by any stretch of the imagination. Rodgers was constantly talking about the offense being old and stale, or relying too much on him to make things happen, often getting play calls from McCarthy and then eye rolling at it and changing the play at the line of scrimmage. And there's also the majority consensus that McCarthy underachieved in Green Bay with one of, if not the most, transcendent signal callers ever to grace the football field. And he consistently fielded an average to below average defense in every season but the '08 Super Bowl winning season. And that's not good enough for an amazingly talented quarterback that is Aaron Rodgers. You could definitely make the argument that Mike McCarthy wasted some of Aaron's best years, which were as good as any ever to play. Some might say the best, but that's a separate discussion. The hiring of Mike McCarthy by Jerry and Stephen Jones feels like, and not alone on this one, a very safe hire. Other better sport analysts have said that the hiring is a very safe hire by the Jones family, stating in leaks by the media that the Jones wanted someone who is a proven commodity and has a good resume. And that's not far off. He does have a Super Bowl win with 9 playoff appearances and a 10-8 record in the postseason. But there is still that very popular argument that he is more of a product of Aaron Rodgers rather than his coaching ability. He seems to be just a slight upgrade over Jason Garrett. Excuse me. I don't remember ever watching a Packers game and hearing McCarthy and this coaching staff have really outcoached their opponent today, or Mike McCarthy deserves a ton of credit for today's win. Now, I'm not saying it's never been said. He's not a bad coach, but neither is Jason Garrett. You usually hear from the announcers praise for the heroics of Aaron Rodgers, him saving the day and making things happen once the play breaks down, which is not to the credit of the coach. When your play breaks down, it's because it didn't work or was perfectly matched by the defense, which happened very often in Green Bay, hence the common heroics of Aaron Rodgers. Now I will make the argument for. Now let's all take a collective deep breath and think about the good. Being fired and blamed for the struggles of your team is extremely tough to handle, and seeing a whole season play out without you is very humbling. Not to mention how Green Bay is doing right now. Spoiler alert, they're the number 2 seed in the NFC. But the reported response that McCarthy took from that is very uplifting to me and to other Dallas fans. If you haven't heard or read it, McCarthy stated that he spent his time off analyzing the way the game and offense is being played while adjusting his own offense to keep up with professional football in 2020. Studying the greats and being a student of the game is something true football junkies spend their off time doing. And I'll be honest, I believe McCarthy really did do just that. I believe McCarthy grew a whole football team sized chip on his shoulder during the offseason. And with football and media pundits spouting on about his failures in Green Bay, he'll be looking for some old fashioned Texas style redemption. Not only that, but Jerry Jones isn't strapping him with certain caveats like he did with Jason. Jerry is giving McCarthy the freedom to redesign the coaching staff and choose who he wants to keep and who he wants to bring in. And that brings me to another point, or rather, I should say, a coach. Mike McCarthy's first move as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys is bringing in Mike Nolan from New Orleans. He is the new defensive coordinator for Dallas and was the linebackers coach for NOLA. And the main reason this gives me hope is that the Saints linebacking core this year has been great. And even more than just that is one linebackers play this year and has been phenomenal and was even voted AP First Team All Pro for the 2019 season. That player in particular, Demario Davis, who had an outstanding second year with the Saints, thanks in large part to his position coach, Mike Nolan. I feel great about these facts, including the trend of linebackers coaches becoming standout defensive coordinators, starting 2 years ago when Dallas's former linebackers coach Matt Eberflus became the defensive coordinator in Indianapolis. Since that hire, the Colts have gotten great play out of their defense and their scheme. And now, in conclusion, between the discussions, there are plenty of reasons to be both skeptical and excited about the hire of Mike McCarthy. Now, I'll be the first to admit that a lot of what's to be excited is speculation, but not without evidence. And there is even more evidence to suggest otherwise, but there are tons of factors in play here, and not to mention that the Jones family are smarter than we give them credit for. They had multiple interviews with Mike McCarthy and saw/heard something from McCarthy that got him excited. Perhaps it was that chip riding on the shoulders of McCarthy. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening to my madness that is this channel. I hope you share similar excitement, although mine is more of cautious enjoyment and curiosity. I really want to give Coach McCarthy a fair shot, and I believe we should all do the same. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, and if you like what I have to say, go ahead and hit the subscribe button to get notified on any new content I put out. And as usual, y'all have a great day. Thank you.